All right. Well, hello and welcome to the Philadelphia Sports Podcast, a take on Philly sports through the lens of husbands, fathers, and of course, most importantly, Philly sports fans. As always, this episode is brought to you by Sam's Community TV, creating content to establish a community through genuine relationship building. And as always, before we start tonight's episode, we would like to ask that you please make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification button. Subscription button keeps you connected to our community, and the notification button will notify you anytime one of our episodes are airing. And we would love for you to be able to join us. Now, if you're enjoying the episode while you're watching, please go ahead and hit the like button to help us conquer good old algorithm. And with that, folks, we have this emergency pod to bring to you as the Philadelphia Sports Pod to talk about the breaking news that has brought the sports world to a standstill. And I will read the official reports as everyone heard it from Shams. Breaking: LeBron James is signing with the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year, $8 million deal with a player option. Clutch Sports Group and Clutch CEO and Game Over Show host Rich Paul tells ESPN. So that's the news, Malik. It broke on Friday. Mm-hmm. And I just got to ask you first, where were you when you first heard this news?
So when Jaylen Brown hit, I was buying overpriced ice cream. when this hit, I had just finished a work call. And I thank God that I literally hit leave meeting, because I definitely reacted completely unprofessionally. In the middle, as soon as the alert popped on my phone, I'm yelling, "Oh my God!" And then I call family. I start text, like phone starts going crazy. Like I was at home, but it was unreal that this happened, and it was almost kind of like Friday mid morning. Like I don't know, maybe I was waiting for a Monday announcement, whatever it was, but it just kind of happened. But you know what, Sam, I kind of expected it, so I can't say I was like shocked.
You did. And for those who don't think Malik is telling the truth, on our page, I have a reel that we've aired where Malik is calling that, listen, for LeBron James, this is about legacy. And that was the thought that you had. And the question is, if this is really about legacy, then there's really only one destination.
One.
You know, all the other ones, and it's fascinating because all the other destinations had a much more connected storyline to LeBron James. Yeah. So whether it's, Ohio, in terms of going back to Cleveland, obviously that story writes itself. Second time around with the Miami Heat, is he gonna, kind of like put whatever people thought happened there to bed by him rejoining the team, joining Giannis and Bam, and sort of like what that would look like. And then obviously, I think the one that a lot of sports fans wanted, whether they would admit it or not, is just to see LeBron and Steph Curry playing together as teammates. Like we got a sniff of it during the Olympic run. And you know what's fascinating about that Olympic run? Steph Curry had like 2 key games, but outside of that Olympic run wasn't about Steph and LeBron. They had a lot of the other teams that they faced were truly challenging that team. And so it was just about by any means necessary. And then we got the Steph Curry game, if you will, but it wasn't about this LeBron, Steph Curry show.
I think that's actually a really good point, and I think it's a really good segue into talking about this, because so this drops yesterday, and then I think there were 2 real reactions, and I was kind of surprised. Right, there was the shock that Philly was even on the map. Right, that was like a viable option, which I don't understand why it was so underplayed. And then there was a lot of the questions about his fit and how will it work and the usage or whatever it is. And you just said by any means necessary. I think with this group, like LeBron James is a smart dude. Like Jaylen Brown, smart dude. Like we're not talking about guys who don't think about their decisions and this final decision. And so his ability to come here was, I want to win. I'm 42. You know what? We just watched the World Cup. And for all the guys who were locked in on Argentina and Messi wasn't like carrying the ball all over the field. He would pop up in moments and then dominate and then pop back out. I see LeBron being that kind of connective tissue where he has a burst and does what he needs to by any means necessary for us to win. I'm excited. What was your thought? What was your reaction to it? Where were you?
So I was at the house. I was doing some things on my computer, and I get a text message from friends from high school, right?
Mhm.
So I'm in this group chat with some guys from high school, and I see it. And when I tell you it didn't even register like a real sort of post or image, like I'm looking at it, it has ESPN on it. I'm reading the information, but nothing in me said this is true. Like it
Right,
was just
right. Like this AI.
right. It just was like, why would this guy send this? Like kind of just very strange thing. Like, why are you getting caught up in the nonsense? And then I looked and I just could not believe that it was true. LeBron James truly selected Philadelphia. And then you read his post and you realize the impact of this decision. When he says this is my final decision,
Yeah.
like he's going to end his illustrious, storied career as one of the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
decorated players in all of NBA history is going to end his career with the Philadelphia
Yeah.
76ers. I think it says two things. One, it speaks to
Yeah.
the franchise that Philadelphia is, regardless of how people feel it's been managed in recent years, if you will, right? Like our inability to sort of punch through doesn't negate the fact that it's still a storied franchise. I don't believe a LeBron James will play anywhere. And so for me, it
Right.
speaks to the cachet that is still the Philadelphia 76ers organization.
To that point, could you ever have seen him in a Timberwolves jersey?
No.
No, right?
No.
It's like,
That's why I'm like,
it's like
I hear what y'all are saying, but LeBron and the Timberwolves.
yeah, it's like Olajuwon going to play for the
me.
right. It's like Olajuwon playing for the Raptors. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what is
Right.
this?
Right.
What is it? But go ahead.
Then
So your first point is identity. Go ahead.
the second point is the opportunity, I think, to what you were sort of hinting on, is the fact that LeBron James, I think, is a brilliant person when it comes to basketball and X's and O's. For him to choose Philadelphia means to me, he understands exactly how he can impact winning on this team.
Yeah.
And I think he can do it in a way where he can preserve himself to make a real viable push for a championship.
Yeah.
And that, to me, I think was the part that took us over the top. I know that there were conversations in Cleveland that they didn't do enough. They were waiting for them, like potentially his team was waiting for Cleveland to make one or two moves. They kind of held pat to say, "Hey,
Yeah.
man, you're the move that we're waiting for." But the Sixers, thank you, Boston, for trying to shed that salary and sending him our way, because without Jaylen Brown, we are not in consideration at all.
So there, I mean, there's so much to think about. First, you just said talking about how we see the Sixers versus like the history of the franchise, and so I think a big part of that is we've got, shout out to Bob Myers, right? Yeah. I mean, the guy has just won multiple championships with Golden State, comes here and he brings that, and then he goes on the podcast and says, "Hey, very plainly, I'm talking to you. I know you and your partner are listening. We're going to win over here," right? I think that carries some cachet. The idea that he can come to this team and impact winning. One of the first things I remember when I think about like the impact winning, Knicks Sixers 2 years ago, right? We couldn't get the ball in. We're up in the game in New York. You remember that?
Regardless of whether you think Maxey was fouled or not, like regardless of whether you think he was fouled, the reality is we could not inbound the ball.
That play, right? Like if that goes differently, we are up going back to Philly or whatever it was, right? All of a sudden, I see that and I think, oh, LeBron James affects that moment right there. Do you remember we used to keep Nick Batum on this team? Do you remember why? Besides the fact that he was a long 3D shooter or whatever it was because he could throw an entry pass.
He was our best.
You know what I'm saying? Like we kept this ball because you see what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about here? So this gets to my reaction to kind of the split reaction. I've got family, I've got friends, I've seen the TV, and I got people who are sitting here like, "Oh, this doesn't make any sense, blah, 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 it ain't gonna work." Yo, we just traded. Let's just talk about this for a quick second.
Let's talk about
Kelly Oubre.
No, you got it. I'm with you. I would like us to break down how the Sixers ended the season in terms of where are we going from here to where we are today as of July 24th.
Sam, we traded like just on the surface, in the starting five, we traded Kelly Oubre and Paul George for Finals MVP Jaylen Brown, multiple MVP and Finals MVP, and surefire top 3 Hall of Famer or whatever it is, LeBron James. Like, no matter what you might think about those two dudes, and I'm not trying to throw dirt on those guys, it's the fact that both of those guys are going to play, they're going to show up, and they're going to compete, and they're going to be professional, and we're going to have 60 games at minimum of those dudes at a high level of basketball, where we restarted everything, where at the end of the season, the Sixers were dead. And now we're back.
And you know what was so crazy about how the Sixers season ended? Why it was like the feeling as a fan, we were on such an emotional high when we beat Boston in the first round, because it showed a level of mettle that the Sixers had not really shown in previous years. It's like when we're down, we're usually out. Like that's just the breaks. That's what we've accepted in terms of this team. To see the way they fought, and then you see like this budding backcourt, and how this is going to be part of the reason we're going to actually be in every game, that they have like this never say die attitude. What's fascinating is that when the season started last year, the Sixers, if you remember, they ran off, like, I want to say they had like 3 wins where they had like a 10-point deficit in like the first maybe 10 games. Like 3 of their wins, they were huge deficits, and they came back. It's like, wow, these guys are like, they're never out of it, right? And so you showed like, okay, that's a component that is very valuable, where it's like, if there's still time on the clock, I think I have a chance. So it shows up in the postseason. You're like, wow, this is a real thing.
Yeah.
And then they get demolished by the Knicks, right? And they get demolished by the Knicks in such a way where like all of that good feeling about Boston kind of just dissipated, because it's like, when you see the way we lost, it's like, what are we going to do with this? What are we going to do with the Knicks? And then you look at the Sixers roster as constructed, and you look at the salaries, you're thinking, well, we can't really sprinkle anything around this core. The core is locked. We can't do anything with these contracts. So in our minds, it's like there's not going to be enough kind of fringe players you can add that would really help us be competitive against the Knicks. They ran away with that series.
Let me stop you there, because people are reacting like, we got LeBron James on a 2-year, $8 million or whatever it is, right? Player option, whatever the contract details are, right? People are reacting as though like he's going to come here and be like prime Andy LeBron James, right? He's not going to be that guy, right? But for that cost, we would have only been able to get a fringe guy. We just signed Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for more than LeBron James is going to make on an annual basis. So for 2 years and $8 million or whatever it is, the idea that we're bringing in this dude who is clearly coming here with an agenda, he's focused, he's not out here trying to go like, I'm trying to go win a scoring title, whatever. He might go get a triple double. He might go get the assist. He might get 8 or 9 assists a game. But he's going to leave the heavy lifting the majority of the season to these young dudes, and he's going to pick his spots, because unlike the fringe guys who we would have afforded, this is a dude who we are paying like a fringe, but he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he's going to make everybody like, imagine what Embiid's workouts are going to look. Embiid's going to play 82 games, dog. Like that's what it's going to look like.
He shouldn't. So he shouldn't. So here's what I think it will happen. One, all the like nonsense is gone, right? Like LeBron is here to win, and he's here at this stage in his career that everyone is on notice, right? Like the whole team is on alert, and they realize, okay, we can have fun, but we have to have fun in the whole in a serious way, right? Like, because we can't piss games away like that. That's no longer acceptable, because he has such a track record where you know what's acceptable and you know what's not, right? Like there was a comment I remember back in the day with like one of his teammates, he's like, he's got to learn how to fit in, either fit in or you fit out. Like he was very straightforward. Like, listen, there's a way to get this thing done, and I'm here to do it. And if you're not on board, we'll find someone else who's going to be on board. Yeah. LeBron, even though this is not his team, will come in with that level of cachet, right? So I think he is exactly what a Joel Embiid needs, especially if you're going to be adding a Jaylen Brown. Because Jaylen Brown, like we don't know what that relationship is going to look like, right? But what you need is someone who has enough cachet to demand that they play connective basketball. That it's not just we're going to take turns in a way where it's disjointed, it looks clunky, and we're just going to say, well, he has a big personality, no one's going to try to address it. So it just is what it is. No, LeBron's going to get them to play the right way. And that's the part that I'm so thankful for as a Sixers fan, is that I'm going to be able to watch playoff basketball with this brilliant guy who has enough, like I said, cachet to ensure guys are in the right spots, that they're doing what it takes to win, period. Point blank, period. I think Tyrese Maxey, what's going to be interesting, because Jaylen Brown wants an extension. Like, every player is going to want to keep playing. And so his role, they're going to be very, in my opinion, very direct with him and what his role will need to be. And I believe similar, okay, here's a quick parallel. Similar to the Eagles. The Eagles had like this all-star cast, if you will, in which we ended up losing A.J. Brown because he wanted to do more, even though we paid him favorably. Like, we paid him as a number one guy, even though we knew, listen, here's going to be your role. It's not going to be catching 150 passes a year. Like, that's not what we need you to do. But we're going to pay you because we know that that's who you are, but we just need you to do what we need you to do for us to win. I think it's going to be very similar to Jaylen Brown. Listen, we're not going to take away like your monetary value, but for this thing to work, no one's going to be averaging 28 points a game. Nobody. Like, for this to truly work, everyone's numbers are going to come down, but it's good. We're going to be able to, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. Teams are not going to be able to say, let's stop this 30-point score. No, you got 4 or 5 guys that can all give you 25. And I think that's how this team, to me, has success, is that it's a balanced attack. A balanced attack.
The big part of all this is going to be the sacrifice piece of it. There's going to be 2 elements. There's the sacrifice of it, and there's going to be the level of professionalism that gets added to it. And so if you see Jaylen Brown, first of all, I believe that Jaylen Brown is going to do whatever he wants to win. I also believe that we are benefited by the fact that he is 3 years out from his next contract. He may want it, but 3 years is a little crazy. I could see this in like year 2. I'm not necessarily worried about it right now. But even with all of that, this does have an expiration date.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, 3 years.
Yeah.
DJ Edgecombe is going to come up on at some point in time, his new contract. Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, all of that kind of culminates. So you're going to have a whole lot of decisions to make at that time. But for right now, with what LeBron James, I think, can do for this group, if we can't win now, what he can do is he can help prepare the next group. Like, what will Maxey and DJ look like with him there every single day? With him influencing practices and working out, and him being, being a leader. So, like, even if we decide, like, hey, you know what, this iteration of the Sixers doesn't work, and I'm not prepared. Listen, Sam, I already told you, I got my money right now on them winning the championship. I got my odds before the decision. So, but that said, he's going to be able to come in, and I think he's going to raise this current group and simultaneously prepare them for whatever stage is next. It's a huge impact.
As much as everyone is saying, it's championship or bust, and I it's, even as a diehard Sixers fan, I can understand why that would be the tone around, the league. It's like, well, if LeBron doesn't get it done, and it's no. I get it. With that said, if the Sixers play, in my opinion, this is how they play their best basketball. Like a LeBron James, a Jaylen Brown, whatever they're going to do is going to be the best that they can do. If it's not good enough, then you got to tip your hat to someone else, right? But I don't believe that this makes them worse than last year in any way, shape, or form. Right, that's my point. So it's like everyone's saying championship or bust. I'm thinking, okay, fair. However, they're going to improve considerably. And so even to your point, even if for some reason they were not to capture the crown this year, I believe they are much better off in terms of what the future holds for this team than previous to LeBron James coming here. Now, here's the elephant in the room. All right, I'll let you
hold on. But so, because I want to address that because I've heard that too, like it's championship or bust. Sixers haven't been to the Eastern Conference Finals since Iverson. We haven't won a championship since, like, what was it, 83? Like the idea that all of a sudden with Embiid, like, it's amazing when you want to make that argument. All of a sudden, Embiid is super healthy. All of a sudden, Jaylen Brown looks great under analytics. All of a sudden, DJ Edgecombe is a 5-year All-Star. Like, what are we talking about?
Bro, it's so funny because that same point, like, that's why this whole ring chasing conversation is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Like, the championship or bust, I get it only in the sense that they're saying if LeBron chose it for a championship, then that's the only outcome that is reasonable. Fair, fine. But to also say he's ring chasing, it's like, well, wait a minute. He would be bringing us to a championship. Like, this is not a team that has sniffed anything close to a championship. No. So how can this be ring chasing?
Would he have been ring chasing if he had gone to Golden State?
No.
Right? So look, you got Steph Curry and
the Cavs were in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and it wouldn't have been ring chasing.
Right. So a team that has not been to the Eastern Conference Finals since Iverson, that's not won a championship since 80 or whatever it was, 83. All
2001 is the last time we were out of second round, and 83 was the last time we were in the finals and won the whole thing.
Right. I could see the conversation being slightly different if this was a younger dude, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not the same guy. And I'm not trying to like lower the bar for him. It's just that I think he realizes, like, look, I can do more now with having impacts rather than dominating the entire game. That's it. He's going to be messy.
Like this. The Sixers are not in contention for a championship without LeBron James. They're like, I don't believe so. I think that they can. I think they're Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe I don't think that without LeBron James they are truly contenders. They are improved. Absolutely, no doubt about it.
That's the right way to
I think they're definitely improved. Just swapping out, Paul George for Jaylen Brown. I think you have improved your team, right? With that said, it doesn't mean that they were title contenders right off the bat. We know they weren't because we saw the odds, so we laid the bet. It was still 20-1, right?
Right.
Now it has changed considerably, and so it's like, and he's 41 years old, and that's the beautiful part about this decision. That's why, for me, I give him so much respect. You've come to a place. Philadelphia is not going to, like, as much as we're going to have the flowers out for him on his arrival, we know what this town is, man. Like, and he understands it uniquely, that this is a hard town and it's quickly to become a hill. It's very quick to become a hill here. And so with all of that information, he still looked at our team and said, you know what? I can impact this team and get them to a championship. Like, I can do what I need to do on this roster. Here's where I think the LeBron's value is understated, to be honest with you. Everyone talks about the fact that he accepted the third role in LA, right? And so part of this transition to the Sixers is going to be a little more seamless only because he's already experienced not being number one or number two. Fair. But I think what people are still missing is that when you had a playoff series against the Houston Rockets and your number one and number two weren't there, and he had to put the crown back on again, and you realize, he's still that guy? Man, listen, he just has to get to the playoffs. And to your point, he's going to help these guys, motivate these guys, put them in a position to shine. I think I was hearing a conversation, Club 520 is like the Jeff Teague and those guys, right? And they actually, one of the guys was saying, if LeBron doesn't average 20 points, it's he had like a negative opinion about him not averaging 20. I'm thinking, why would LeBron go into this thinking I need to average 20 points? Like, I don't expect LeBron to average 20 points on this team.
Like put that in. I heard that same comment and no shots at anybody, whatever it is. But like the idea this dude's already the all-time points leader, right? All-time points leader. Like he did
it seasons ago,
right? No more points no more points to prove, right? So now we're looking at this and thinking to ourselves, like,
you're good. I like that.
Well, I'm here for you, man. That's what I do. But you look at this and you think, like, you really did not understand the rationale behind his decision, right? Like, you have to understand, like, he is an NBA historian. And this is what I was saying last time. He's an NBA historian, right? He idolized Dr. J, even though Dr. J is much older than he is, obviously, but he knows his history, right? He knows what Philadelphia means to the landscape. He talked about he would have gone to New York because he knows what New York means to basketball globally, but New York just won a championship. Philadelphia may not be New York, but if you live Philadelphia in this same way, all of the sudden, the conversation about a 42-year-old dude who shows up to Philadelphia, haven't won a championship in 40-something years, and then all of a sudden this guy's now got his 5th ring potentially. Come on, man. Like, he knows what it's about.
Come on, man. He would be the only player in NBA history to win a title with 4 different organizations, and he would have been a pivotal reason that we would have done it. And granted, of course, every player on the team we would say that about, but that's the point. It's the team. Yeah. The team is why we would be winning a championship. We would have to give your flowers to Joel Embiid, to Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey, VJ. I mean, all the guys would be contributors to a legit title team. So.
Listen, can we talk about the contributions? Because I actually want to talk about the basketball. I love the fact that I get to see Maxey off the ball a little bit more, right? I love the idea that Maxey doesn't have to initiate so much of his offense on his own. I love the idea that all of a sudden you can have a 2-man game with Embiid at the nail and LeBron coming downhill. Are you like I don't know what you do with that.
It's what we didn't get from Ben Simmons almost.
Right. Now you got a willing shooter, right? Or a guy who's going to make, not that Ben Simmons didn't make the right play, but you got a guy who is capable of doing both. The play.
If you're not shooting, then you're not always making the right play. No, if you're an unwilling shooter, then you can't also say he's making the right play.
I know that's fair.
It pains you when the play was just to fire it. Because even if you fire it, there's an offensive rebound opportunity.
That's right. You're right. I'm trying to be positive. I ain't want to take those shots at Ben Simmons.
That's fair, because you got the shoes. I forgot. My bad.
I got the shoes for Ben Simmons. Right. But that said, I look at the impact that he is going to have, and then all of a sudden the Sixers got some dudes on their team. Like, they got some guys who play ball. Right. Like Anthony Simons is going to be a bucket off the bench. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope just showed up. He's just going to chase guys and provide more defensive relief and cover for guys like a VJ, like a Jaylen, like a Maxey, right? All of a sudden, you have the ability to pick in spots and then really optimize their ability when you need them in key stretches. Like, Embiid doesn't have to play. Like, Embiid's minutes should be literally 30. Like, he should be on a minutes restriction all season long at like 32, 33.
I would say 30.
Right, but he's in that space.
Like, I'm serious. Like, to me, it's like at some point, because it's like at some point, if the team is going to be able to function, that with him on the floor, he's still a center of gravity. Yeah. And so to me, it's like this is the best opportunity to start weaning this sort of relationship where Joel is very impactful in stretches. Like, when he comes in, he's impactful, but it's like, don't just have him out there just to have him out there. I don't think you have to do it this year.
I agree. Let me also say this, because I want to put this on paper, right? So the idea, Joel Embiid came back after an appendectomy within like a week, 2 weeks or something like that, right? If you don't think this dude is motivated to play basketball after the season, and certainly because everyone has been in that conversation with LeBron James, he's been involved in the LeBron James conversation. Like, in my mind, I don't know if you've ever seen Rocky 4. Like, I envision Embiid doing one of them, like climbing up the mountains in the snow, running past cars, trainings. Like, he has got to be locked in right now. Last year, without having to, he flashed appendectomy, and now we got LeBron James and him being willing to come to Philadelphia with the idea that you are going to be able to be a reliable contributor, which means you're going to be healthy. I've got to believe that somewhere right now, he ain't had no chance.
He said somewhere right now, he did what?
He ain't eating no Shirley. He drinks Shirley. My man is in. My man be either be Dro. I'm telling you, I just had that kind of confidence in what he's going to do this season. I really believe that this is indicative of likely success.
I'll say this much: it's going to be hard to have any excuse at this.
This is where I'm at.
It's like I think the writing is on the wall all the way through, like all the way through. The writing is on the wall, and I think when you bring in a player who just demands so much of others because he demands so much of himself, that if it's you gotta. If this doesn't motivate you to be the best version of yourself, then there's no external motivation. You know what I mean? Like, if this doesn't light a fire internally for you to say, hey, listen, I don't care if I'm long in the tooth. Right. I don't care that I've been an MVP before. This needs to be my best season. Right. Even if it's on limited minutes, not in terms of statistics, but in terms of the value I bring to this team, this has to be my best season. And I think everyone has to have that mindset. It's not about statistics. It's about contributing to winning basketball. This has to be my best season. I'm glad you touched on the relationship he'll have with like on a VJ and a Tyrese. I think Tyrese in this starting five, because you don't really have like a Caldwell Pope and even Dean Wade. In all actuality, it would probably be preferable that they're part of a starting lineup only because like their role is just to space the floor so you can't double, right? With that said, Tyrese Maxey may be your best spot shooter in your starting lineup, right? Like he may benefit the most with LeBron having the ball and then a quick pass and shoot, right? Because Tyrese, I think, can just fill it up on the catch and shoot opportunities. And I would love to see his usage come down. He's going to year 7, and we have been heavily relying on Tyrese Maxey to create a lot of offense for us. And I think if he can have a season where his usage rate drops, to me, I think, again, we talked about it with the Knicks. When they got away from Tibbs and went to Mike Brown, Jalen Brunson and company stopped playing 45 minutes a game and we're down to 35 minutes. And you see how they just walk every team down in the fourth quarter. Every fourth quarter, now you have a fresh Knicks starting five. And I think the Sixers have the same kind of capacity of just having fresh players. I believe that between Embiid, Maxey, Jaylen Brown, and LeBron James, of those 4 players, I don't think the Sixers should ever have a lineup on the court that doesn't have at least 2 of them.
Oh, I agree. Agree completely.
To me, Nick Nurse should not be playing around with having 3 of those guys on the bench at one time.
Yeah. I think you're going to see a lot of, well, to go back to your earlier point about spot up shooting, I hope right now that VJ Edgecombe is not listening to this, and I hope he's somewhere in the gym just hitting shooting corner threes right now. Like that's all. And I don't know how I feel about that in terms of his regression or his development because he was a guy who was kind of coming on a little bit, and he had his moments where he had just incredible nights offensively. I think he'll do well with kind of like the little back cuts and screens and slips that LeBron James will find him on. I think there'll be more of that. But I mean, his job primarily is going to be literally as a 5th option when they're all on the floor together. Now, to your point, when you all of a sudden have just 2 of those guys on the floor, I think VJ all of a sudden, he can ascend a little bit more and be more responsible. So that's going to be a big piece of it. I want to talk about the walking down the Knicks part because I want to see, like, with all the conversation about championship or bust and then walking down the Knicks, there was a lot that's happened in the East, a lot that's happened in the NBA, but particularly the East. Toronto Raptors may have acquired Kawhi Leonard. We don't really know what's going on with that yet. The Knicks are still the Knicks. Cleveland's, kind of stood pat, but they were in the finals last year. So, Giannis is now in Miami. What is a reasonable expectation? Because I know we will not be reasonable, but what is a reasonable expectation for the Sixers this year?
In terms of seeding?
In terms of at the end of April, we should see them where on the seeding.
Sure.
And then
I think they're going to be at the end of April, they will be hosting a playoff game.
So that's a top 4.
So they're top 4 at the end of April. I don't think that they are playing for the number 1 seed, in my opinion. I don't think that that's how they're going to go about this season. I think that they are going about this season and just like almost just taking information. Every single game, what do they learn? What do they know about themselves? With the whole idea that coming down March, April, they're putting it together in a very real way. So I don't mind them not leading the league statistically in wins. I am very curious to see what the games look like. And I think to your point about the walking down portion, how we close games, I think is going to be fascinating. How do we end games? Who's on the court? And what's the group that really feels like, okay, that group gives you your best chance to win? I don't know if it's the starting 5 at this point. Like, just being fair, because at the end of the day, you're going to need shooting. Like, it's the new NBA. 3-point shots are a big part of this game. And I think we have a lot of guys that, again, our starting 5, it's almost too complete because it's like every guy is a guy. You know, it's like usually your starting five has that one guy who just understands I'm a dirty work guy. Like you need the guy who's just the glue,
right.
rebounding, never looks at the rim,
Right.
extra rebound. I'm in the passing lane. Like I do all the other things other than try to score unless I'm just wide open, and that has to happen. With that five, those, you know, so I think of BJ to me in terms of development, I agree with the concern because when you're slotted into a specific role, then it's the role that you need to like focus on. So that means that if I'm in the gym, I may not be working on my breakdown moves. Like I might have to sacrifice the time I'm putting into that as opposed to just catch and shoot. One pump fake, one dribble, shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's funny because Jeff Teague talked about that. He said when he was in Atlanta, if you remember, when he played for the Hawks were like the number one seed, but they would get killed by the Cavs. Like they were the number one seed, but no one believed that the Hawks actually were going to win a title, right?
Was that Joe Johnson and Horford?
Joe Johnson, Kyle Korver, Al Horford. You know, like it was that team, right? And what Jeff Teague was saying, he's like, what kind of hurt me on that team is that the way we ran offense, it was a lot of stuff off the ball, a lot of moving cuts. Like it was the offense and the offensive sets and system, but Budenholzer, whatever, like that's how the team had success. The problem is when he then goes to Minnesota, it's like, yo, it's just your turn. Here's the ball, go to work.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, where's the screen? Where's the off movement? Like somebody do something else as opposed to just seeing a defense stack looking at him saying, okay, do something. And so it registered to me like, wow, when guys are paid to do something specific, then they practice that thing because they know this is what I'm paid to do. So I agree with you in terms of VJ. VJ's role is going to be very different. And he's going to have to practice doing what they actually need him to do, which is unlike what they were expecting of him last year in terms of just, yo, at some point, you and Maxey is going to be taking turns at this thing. Now it's like, we're going to have to put that on hold because your shot, if you can't knock this shot down consistently, D Wade is going to have to get on the floor. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is going to have to get on the floor. Like, we're going to need that from somebody. And so if you can't do it, we're going to have to put someone on the court who can.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think having that depth, I mean, in the playoffs, we saw that, you know, you need to go 8, 9, 10 deep, right? Mm-hmm. And we're talking about for having older guys the ability to kind of, you know, stagger their minutes, and you're going to need them to be able to go out there and contribute in a meaningful way. So the fact that, you know, you're going to have a full regular season to fine tune and integrate that is going to be absolutely essential because we know that there's going to be some clutch moments, and whether you are playing 20 or 5, right? Like your moment's going to be called at some point in time, and you have to be ready. And it might just be a catch and shoot. It might just be, you know, defensive stop here or there or whatever it is. So I like it. Listen, there's nothing bad. Like my whole introduction, Sam, there's nothing bad about this.
Bro,
there's nothing bad about
so
this
crazy, Malik. I'm not even going to say this person's name because I don't want to give him credence. But there's unfortunately a Philly sports person who on WIP put out the like it was such a curmudgeon kind of take about like wake me up almost when he's gone from Philadelphia kind of thing. Like this is the worst day in Philadelphia sports history. It's like, why do we have to have that soundbite? Like, why do we have to be associated? Because this one guy who has a microphone is able to make that kind of take. And I think, unfortunately, for the city of Philadelphia, it's like, they're your Sixers. Those are Philadelphia fans, blah, 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 blah. Because at the end of the day, there is that issue. Like, Philadelphia is still Philadelphia. And remember, I talked about it before, how I lamented how the Phillies get treated. Like, the Phillies, to me, they get treated in such a vile way just because they can't win it all. It's like this is one of the best groups that we've had in such a long time. And the fact that you're booing them at a Flyers game when they're in civilian clothes, it's like, come on, guys. But that is Philadelphia. And so, again, for LeBron to choose this town to play in, it means that he's only here to win a championship. He ain't here for fun and games. He's not here. Yeah, we have some golf courses. I get all that. But you don't choose Philly if you're not here to win.
I heard the WIP comment, and I immediately, I'm a person of a certain age, so I remember when that guy's father used to drag Iverson. And so it just sounds like there's another shtick that you're just running because, listen, last year going into the season, I was looking up who was Dominic Barlow and Trendon Watford and Jabari Walker, right? Same amount of money. I was getting excited about, oh, we guarantee Justin Edwards contract. Oh, he's a nice young prospect. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I was last season. For the same amount of money, now we got LeBron James. Miss me with all this.
LeBron James.
And for all the people, I'm going even further. I'm going to go even further. Sam, let me go further. Because for all the people who want to talk about like the flopping and the antics or whatever it is, Jaylen Brown, there's nobody that draws more contact than Jaylen Brown with the whole forearm shiver or whatever it is. Jalen Brunson just won a championship, with all of his antics. Shai Gilgeous the year before that. Listen, and as much as I may love Embiid, I recognize who Embiid is, right? Same kind of things. The NBA officiates that way. You'd be silly not in a way to play to that. Realizing, however, this dude is still a 6'8", 250-pound dude coming downhill. Like, he draws a lot of that contact. And not only is he going to draw that contact, but he's going to intimidate defenses, and now you're going to kick to Maxey, who's sitting in the corner. Maxey's going to be a 40. Yeah, Maxey's going to get so many open threes this season instead of dribbling, step back, take the man off the dribble. Like, it's a different game for him.
That's the part. I think Maxey, to me, is going to have such a unique opportunity. I'm not going to say he's going to turn to Steph Curry or anything, but, like, he's going to be just firing when he knows it's just, when this ball finds me, my job is to just knock it down.
Yes.
I don't even think about it. When the ball finds me, like, to me, Maxey will have the super green light, but I don't think he'll always just be generating his own shot. And I think that's the beautiful part of what we are going to see is the fact that you have a willing facilitator who's coming in, who's just going to organize everybody. And the guys, you got guys who aren't afraid of the moment, right? Like, how many times have we seen a 6-year, the ball gets in the wrong person's hands? Because it's only got like 2 or 3 guys whose hands it could go in and to do something. Now you're in a situation where any of those guys get the ball, it's go time. So,
I lost you. You there?
You got?
Maybe that was me. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me? How are we doing? Testing. Okay. Let's see. Testing.
Oh, I got you back. There you go.
All right. And we'll see how this one plays out, right? So I can hear you. Can you hear me?
But all that is to say, you talk about the moment. Got you. I think it's slow.
So I want to apologize to our audience. I am on vacation, and
you there, Sam?
I hear you.
That's a challenge.
Yep.
I got you down. Are you there?
Yep, I can hear you. Sam,
are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Well, all right. Well, maybe that's a sign to start wrapping it up then.
I agree. So here's what I'll say. The last thing I'll say is that the culture in Philadelphia has officially changed. Point blank, period. Top down. And to your point, we only said his name one time, Bob Myers. It's from the top down. This is a different 76ers organization entirely. I don't care that you have the same ownership group. Bob Myers has changed everything related to this Sixers team. You bring in the GM from Ohio. You got Jameer along with him. I mean, Anthony Simon said what made him sign with the Sixers is that Jameer spoke with his parents. He said no other team did that. It showed them how interested they really were in me, that Jameer talked to my parents.
Yeah.
And he's like, that was the deciding factor for me. So the Sixers are doing, like, it didn't just fall in our laps. And I think that's why I'm like, this is a different organization.
Yeah.
It didn't just fall to them. They went out and got it. They went the extra mile. Bob Myers was the only person on the podcast with Rich Paul. I'm sure every GM wanted to get a slot. Only one guy had an opportunity to speak directly with LeBron James management or his representation.
Right.
And so to me, that is just indicative of the fact that the Sixers aren't playing games anymore. And it's a top-down cultural shift, and putting LeBron James at the helm, regardless of his salary, he's at the top of this culture change.
I'm going to add one thing to that, because what he's done is, you talked about it earlier, put everybody on notice. And then part of the notice period the Sixers still have space and opportunity to go out and do other things, right? So, like, the ability to go out and trade a first-round pick and pieces to augment this current group. They didn't trade, like, he was a free agent. They didn't trade a lot in Jaylen Brown's deal. Dean Wade, free agent. Anthony Simons, free. So they've got assets to still move, whether it be swaps or picks, to go out and still move to make this group better. And I absolutely believe that whatever the product we see in October is probably not going to be the finished product in April, May, hopefully in June. Because if in February, when the deadline hits, they need to go out and do something, still have the ammunition, and a guy like Bob Myers and Gansey and Jameer, all of a sudden they have the impetus to go do so. So I'm encouraged. I'm excited. And if for no other reason, you said it earlier, where we were at the end of last season to just a couple months later, we all of a sudden got basketball back, and it's going to be incredible.
Incredible. Like, now, it's so incredible that, unfortunately, I do also have to say, last year's average price for a Sixers game,
forget about
$68 for the regular season. That was the average price for 68 Sixers game. Average price for the season opener, preseason, $271.
Dog, you better get an OnlyFans account and start. You might listen. I'm gonna tell you right now. Listen, so I usually come back up that way around the holidays, and I already canceled Christmas for my kids. Like, it ain't happening. But I do plan to get around it because I'm gonna go on road games. That's the only way at this point.
Yeah. You gotta catch a show on the road. I might have to go to Brooklyn in DC.
Yeah, ain't nobody in Brooklyn.
It'll be like the Knicks. Like, the Knicks fans can't watch the games in Madison Square Garden. They go on the road to watch their team play. It might be similar to the Sixers, you know?
Either go on a road trip or get an OnlyFans. That's where it's at.
Man. But boy, man, I'm telling you, the town is on fire, as I'm sure you can assume. The energy is like, you can feel it. Like, I'm serious. This is something real. It's legitimate. I think everybody realizes the time is now, and everyone's all in. And I'm just very excited about what this team is going to do. I'm really excited about the impact he'll have on the community.
Yeah.
You know, like my relationship and my family's relationship with Philadelphia youth basketball. We know he's going to be in the 6-man center from time to time because it's like that's where they are. And so I just think that it's just going to be so beautiful for Philadelphia to have a LeBron James experience, because it's a basketball town. Like, as much as the Eagles sort of shadow the basketball heads in Philadelphia, and everyone knows this as a football town, partially because you could never invade Lincoln Financial Field the way you invaded Wells Fargo. Like, that just couldn't happen. With that said, it's still a basketball town, right? And so to have a LeBron James, one of the GOATs who's ever played the game, choose to end his career with us, I just hope that as a fan base, we see that and understand it, and like have enough grace. Just have the grace for a great, as opposed to like on a short leash, kind of like, oh, he turned the ball over again. Like, you can't treat I just hope that we have enough grace for LeBron James of realizing how cool of a thing this is for the Sixers to be his destination. He said it's his final decision. Like, that's significant, man. He's gonna play a quarter century worth of basketball in his last 2 years with the Sixers.
Yeah.
God forbid he gets 2 rings and catches Mike on his way out. Like, come on now. Like, I know we're supposed to end the stream, but yeah.
I think the idea that Michael Jordan is 1-6 and he's undisputed, blah 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 blah, greatest of all time, all is true. But I think LeBron James's route is going to be different. And if he elevates Miami and Cleveland, and obviously Lakers have been fantastic forever, but now the Sixers, it's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation.
Yeah.
It's a different, and it's at 41 and 42 years old. Come on now. There was no expectation of Kobe winning a title at 38, or Mike, when Mike came back to the Wizards. That wasn't a championship run or a decision to win championships.
That's right.
With LeBron, the expectation, he's coming here to win.
Yeah.
At 41, and the expectation is like, man, he just made them good enough to do it.
Yeah. That's right. Man, it's gonna be unreal. I can't wait for it. This is gonna be, honestly, and you brought up a good point about this being a football versus basketball town. It's clearly a football town, but the Sixers have a chance the Sixers have a chance to do something special this season. Where all of a sudden I might be like split screening over here and looking at like it's going to be incredible. I can't wait for it, man.
Here's the last piece. The last thing I'll say, and we are going to wrap up the show. The schedule. I'm not sure we're going to see Sixers Celtics anymore for Christmas. We might right now. Like I think because it's almost like the Celtics don't even. No one's even thinking about that rivalry right now. Like this is beyond the Celtics. The Celtics just kind of diminish in people's minds in terms of, oh, we can't wait to see those two teams play. LeBron James, like what I'm hearing already is New York. Like I think they're saying they're going to open up Knicks at Sixers or Sixers at Madison Square Garden.
I see that point, but I think the idea that you can get like the Knicks deserve billing. Like the Knicks deserve a headline. Like I hate to say that because it's New York, whatever it is, but like the reality of it is that if you play Sixers, what are there usually 4 games or something like that? So you do Sixers, Celtics, you do like Knicks, Spurs.
Yeah,
you'll do a Steph Curry or a Lakers game or whatever it is, like Steph Curry against.
I think it'd be against Minnesota, man. I think you have Steph play against the young guns, LaMelo and Ant-Man.
You could do that, and then you always are going to have Cooper Flag in Dallas now with so that's another option, right? So you're going to have I think the Knicks get their own slot. I do. I agree with you that I think this all of a sudden makes the conversation between us and Boston much different.
Yeah,
much different.
You know what? You're right. You're right. I think it is a six. I think it is a Christmas game. I think it will be the Knicks and the Spurs for Christmas.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it does make sense. I think the Sixers open up in Madison Square Garden to kind of kick off the NBA season for their banner celebration, whatever, and then we get that dub. And then I think for Christmas, it's that anticipated Jaylen Brown in Boston, because if it's a Christmas Day game, you got to go to Boston for that.
It's got to be there.
You got to go to Boston for that. Yeah.
It's got to be there. Oh, man, I can't wait to talk about it. Can't wait to see it.
Well, folks, please make sure you tune in next time because we're going to keep bringing the real deal information about how we see Philadelphia sports. And so until next time, folks, peace.